It's the book of it's the book of Revelation chapter 6. It's the book of Revelation chapter 6. It's the book of Revelation chapter 6, starting at verse 4, and it reads, I'm going to start at verse 3. And it says, the second seal war. It says, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. Which, horses represent power. And Esau Edom, Adawam, meaning wasted away is he, because he lacks, well, he doesn't completely lack melanin, but he doesn't have as much melanin as every other nation on the planet. And it says, and there went out another horse that was red, Esau Edom, his blood shows forth through his skin, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, all glory to Koh like Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Hakodash, double honors to the elders, to the apostles, like this truth from, peace and salutation to the Akim, across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Akwata, the listening and learning, Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say Shalom. Brother Yahushua coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua. Yahweh meaning he is, he exists, or he to be, Hashem, His end, His does, Hashem his name. Yahushua meaning he saves, or he delivers, true name for the Most High God in Islam. These people ignorantly call God Jesus Christ, but whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua. This lesson is inspired by, I was scrolling, I don't even know if I'm going to play the video because, you get certain celebrities and certain individuals. I've had videos where I put up the copyright disclaimer and still they flagged it, so they do what the fuck they want on this. I also notice everybody is pretty much streaming, but who said that? The lady that wrote The Matrix and Terminator, she said it's gonna be a time where pretty much everything's gonna be streamed. So either she is enlightened. But, you can be enlightened on the left-hand side and the right. So either she is, what do they call them? I can't think of the word. But either she is, with them, her name is Sophia, but you got right-hand wisdom and you got left-hand wisdom, she probably is a very spiritual woman because when you go into Terminator and The Matrix, this is all about, the Messiah, But anyhow, I will show the video if y'all choose to watch it. You can, but fair use, fair use. I'm not going to play it though. So this is, I was inspired because of this video. Copyright disclaimer, fair use, fair use. I'm not even going to play it.
I'm hungry. Anytime you see me, you like to find.
I hate when the signal be going so damn slow. So I was just, sometimes I'll be just going through shorts. This Rampage video. So I'm not going to play it. I'm just Rampage Jackson funny moments. And you see at the top it say Year of the Horse. Now, to be honest, because I'll be catching so much hell, I don't be up on my shit like I supposed to, so I'm going to have to really do some fasting or something, But, I remember when the Lord awakened me or blessed me with the understanding and the knowledge about last year being the year of the snake, and there was a lot of deceit happen, with the big, beautiful bill, people thinking is actually beneficial when in actuality it's really, I got the elder brother broke it down. He said when you go BBB, when you flip it around, it's 666. You know what I mean? So that's what it really represents. But there's a lot of deceit in that bill. And then this year, the year of the horse, represents they came out swinging with all this war talk because of the fact horses represent power, and that's why Esau Edom flexed the way that they flexed. So I'm gonna go to the definition of horse. It says horse represents power. It says across cultures and history, the horse universally symbolizes power, strength, freedom, and nobility. Often associated with war, speed, and endurance, they represent untamed energy and, in many traditions, divine authority or high social status. They embody both physical might and the spirit of independence. So, you got so much war going on the earth because, it's prophetic, it's prophecy, but it's also these nations gearing up for war because it's, how the scriptures say in the book of Proverbs, I believe 21 as well as 16, that, the Most High God directed the hearts of the king, or I know they both say, like, it's kind of switched up. One says about how the Lord directed the steps of a man or the king, and then one says, the king's heart is in the Lord's hand. So the Lord putting these spirits on these, leaders, these world leaders, because, the scriptures talk about in the book of Revelations, what's that, 11, second woe is past and the third woe comes quickly. It says, war and authority historically used in battle, horses represent military strength, conquest, and high status. And, it's spiritual because, again, I didn't think to look at it. It's just like last time when I was going to, because, I don't know how many people did it or how many brothers did a video about the year of the snake, but I know I was one of them, because the Lord gave me a video, gave me some kind of information. I was like, well, damn. And then he did all that snaky shit. And he even read that poem about, you knew I was a snake, But it's cool how the Lord, actually like telegraphing the shit they doing. And I was just listening to a particular elder. He was going into that. A prophet's job is to interpret the signs and to see what's going on and pretty much bring forth the message to the people. So, again, the scriptures talk about, what's that? And ultimately, that's where you're going to get, you're going to have the pretty much the nations, because you see it, what's that, Revelation chapter 17, about, the nations hating the whore, or the beast hating the whore, which, with the moves that DJ Trump making with his arrogancy, got pretty much Babylon the Great isolated. I remember the elder said that, because when you take time to think about it, like they were saying, like he deranged mentally because of the fact he's so used to being a businessman using business tactics. Like I even spoke on that. You go into a hostile takeover. That's actually a business tactic. So he's so used to being able to do certain things in business, but not realizing that, you can't do these same tactics when it comes to dealing with these other nations. And that's why the scriptures talking about, the devil pretty much having a look that's more stout than his fellows. So ultimately, all that's going to lead to, that third war's woe that's going to be, basically, going to be fought with intercontinental ballistic missiles. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. For every battle of the warriors with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Which that's mentioned again, I'm thinking, either this same chapter or another chapter. So, that's how, it's meant to take place. It's meant, it's not by coincidence or happenstance that the Lord put it on his devil spirit to create these weapons of mass destruction. And then, like I said, again, he's revving Esau Edom, the so-called white man spirit up. That's why you got these neo-Nazi parties. Scriptures talk about race wars, 2nd Ezra chapter 15. One people against another. Matthew chapter 24, Luke chapter 21. You're going to have these nations, but also you're going to have Edomites against Edomites because of belief, perception, perspective, morality, what they believe in. But you got to understand, it's going to be very much a civil war. And that's why they pretty much, promoted it so much. That's why you got all these movies called Civil War. You got to think about it. Like, again, like they showed it with the Marvel. Because if you didn't know, Marvel was heavily demonic. What the thing with this is this. I always used to think everybody was involved in it. If you're part of it, you involved in it, but that's not true. Like the brothers were saying, you got sleeper cells. So the Lord might have an individual that's a police officer. Like the elder always said, he say, I dealt with this, we dealt with them, we know certain individuals, and it ultimately breaks down to the golden rule, right? Treat others like how you want to be treated. Now, yeah, you got spirits on people, you got demons, but in actuality, like if the Lord gifted you to be a prophet, well, I can't say that though, because you know what I mean? You look at Stephen. I just noticed like certain men have been given the gift of gab so they can talk themselves out of situations. Now, I remember the elder from South SC, he was amongst them young Jakes. And, you can see they was on some bullshit, but at the same time, he handled the situation so eloquently. I don't know how I would have reacted, you know what I mean? But I mean, again, like the elders always break down, Jake is a simple people for the most part. Jake don't really be on no bullshit. That's how you know the difference in the natures of Esau, Edom, and Jake. Jake, long as he got what he needs to survive, will not really give a fuck about what the other nation's doing. Long as Jake got a place to stay, his land is secure, he got food, he got his woman, his family protected, Jake don't really give a fuck. And that's why you literally, got so many Jakes that's not really speaking up. Which, I mean, again, they might be in the proper spirit because, again, this is not our fight, You got Jake that's sitting up there thinking they about to militarize, which is going to be foolish because you wasn't given the power of the sword. I just read it, Revelation chapter 6. Esau, Edom was. But again, there's the spirit that the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, put on this devil that he's about to come down with great wrath. And that's why you're seeing all these different things going on in the world. So like I said, again, everybody was so amazed at what took place. And the elites behind the scenes direct things. But ultimately, what did they have to do? They got a puppet like DJ Trump, like the elder always said. He said, this guy's a puppet. He's a small guy. They just pretty much got him in a position. They putting that fire up on his ass. That's why, like the elder say, we know about DJ Trump. DJ Trump is literally, he got to save his ass. He not trying, listen, if they impeach him, they might bring up federal charges against him. Now they trying to talk about putting cameras on ICE. But, what do that matter? Take the time to think about this. I've been around police officers with body cameras. When they don't want to be seen on camera, they turn the shit off. So what did you really win? Again, I forgot who broke that down, but it was like, like for instance, if you ever had to cop to a plea, you're dealing with the prosecutor. The prosecutor will sit up there and he already know what they gonna give you and what they not gonna give you. So they'll sit up there and make it seem like, okay, boom, you might have been facing 5 years. They might say, we'll give you 3. See if you cop to that. But ultimately, they willing to give you 1.5. You get what I'm saying? 2. They already got that in their mind. So again, it's all like oh man, this is a wicked ass place. It's the book of Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. This place is almost owe it, you know what I'm saying? We're just waiting for, like the elder say, pretty much a few prophecies, major prophecies, which is what? The mass implementation of that microchip, the failing of this economy, crashing at the fish gates, and World War III, which certain things are going to be happening simultaneously. You get what I'm saying? And we don't know how the Lord going to play it out. But we can clearly see that the Lord is working within the earth. Because prophecy is nearly at the door. You know what I mean? The major ones at that, Your brother just did a lesson about how, you had a state speaker or some part of legislation that pretty much put in, passed laws where they pretty much can't mandate you taking a microchip. Why do you think they passing laws like that? Because you can see that they're going, and it's something going to happen, even though because I know what I truly believe. Again, you got people that's fighting But then you got a lot of them in cahoots with it. So you got to act like you're resisting it. They just can't be out in your face and say, oh yeah, because they know motherfuckers going to flip the fuck out. As tight as the people is what's the word? As many tensions as going on in Babylon the Great, they know people are tense. I was wondering if he was gonna get a tax return, which we very well might now because they passed that budget, and to appease the people, they know how people get lulled back to sleep by putting some fucking money in their hand. But you know, again, who's to say they like a lot of that stable coin already on there? There's a lot going on, too much so. You know, when you take time to think about it, like that stable coin I hear is pretty much a Trojan horse. And that's what we seeing the price of the precious metals not fluctuate, but like increase. Silver's never been this high. Gold has never been this high. But the craziest part is, you know, and funny part is too, ain't no escaping what the Lord got for you. Because, you know, some individuals, which, you know, I appreciate the elder, you know, or appreciating the spirit, you know, being on me to actually have had an opportunity to invest in it at one point in time. But from what I hear, a lot of places ain't even taking silver because there's an overabundance of it. So you may have silver, but doesn't mean anybody gonna buy it. It's cold in the motherfucker, unless the Lord order the spirit of the Lord order, like, go ahead, bless them. Like, so this thing about to get real deal. So that's why we got Ezekiel chapter 7. I'm gonna start at verse 3, and it says, now is the end come upon thee, and nothing's gonna be able to save you. What's in the same chapter? It talks about how they gonna cast their silver and gold in the streets, you know, because it ain't gonna be worth, you know, again, how the elder brother broke it down. He said, you know, a man ain't gonna, you know, have these, you know, this monetary system or even, you know, certain personal belongings. That's why it's more important to try to get the scriptures in you. You know, everybody ain't gonna have a book of Eli moment. Eli was blessed to be able to have a book. And he went unmolested because of that. But that you could actually see, like, I remember when I first watched the book of Eli, I hated that movie. Then when my eyes became open, I went back and watched it again, and I see how much of a great movie it is. You saw how the devil, you know, what's his name? Gary Oldman, he up there, you know, he realized what he had. He said, man, I seen the power of it. So he was trying to be onto the world like a god. You know, I was watching the elder go into that guy, Philip Anthony Michael or whatever the hell his name is, clearly sold out individual. And the Lord is heavily on the elder to expose those that he believes sold out. And I don't think he just said it because, you know, you got certain attributes of a person that's compromised. You know, go watch some of them gangster movies. You know? Scarface when he found out about the rat. You know what I mean? The Sopranos. Yeah. Verse 4. Well, I don't know if I read all three. And it says, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee. And these different judgments that's taking place, these different things that's going on, is the Lord's anger. It says, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. Verse 4, and mine eyes shall not spare thee. Nobody's going to be spared if the Lord has it pretty much declared through the Spirit for you to be judged. You know, only the elect has been given that Dawah. You know, the elect and their families. You know, because the scriptures tell you about if the Lord is pleased with you, you know, pretty much through your belief, the Lord can spare your family. They don't have to be the elect. But the Lord can have love for you, so he protects and loves or delivers what you love, which is cold. And my eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abominations, meaning recompense, meaning reward or repay. A reward, brothers always recompense or, you know, compensation, you know. But goes into back. So the Lord said, for your works that you did, I'm gonna give you, you know, or, you know, I'm gonna pay you back for what the fuck you did. It says, and my eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee. And, you know, the true believers, they gonna have a cold spirit in that day, and you can see it. I was listening to the elder. He was like, you could see how all this switch. He's like, a lot of people ain't gonna have no pity. I often say it. You know what I mean? I cared enough for a woman that I try to deal with that shit at homelessness. You know what I'm saying? And it just showed you, I'm sure individuals actually been hurt by women and seen how a wicked ass woman could be not shit. But I watched, and and it showed you the curses, because I remember the one elder brother, because I'm gonna call him an elder, but the Lord took him home. That was part of Cleveland. He was up there. The only breakdown he really knew, like they will always say, the brothers will go into it, and I wasn't that close to him, but he ended up, the Spirit led him to find at least like 4 of us that was believers. And pretty much, he used to always break down. He was like, the curse don't really kick in until you have a child with that woman. And I witnessed that firsthand. Now, everybody's not going to go through the curse. If the Lord wants you to go through that, it's for you. That's your lot. You know what I'm saying? I used to remember hearing Jake sit up there and say that. That's your lot. And I'd be like, man, what the fuck? It's easy to say that when you ain't catching no hell. Now we all going through a little hell. Now, the thing is, I heard an elder brother say about the elect ain't going to catch hell like the rest of the world. Everybody catching hell. The thing is, the elect, in my opinion, and my small understanding of this truth, is the Lord is going to have a spirit on the elect to be able to endure it. Verse 5, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, power and evil, and only evil behold is come. And evil is a compound word we always bring out. Eve meaning time, ill meaning bad. If you can't see you in bad times and the world is only getting worse, man, when the Lord come with that dollar breaking, man, you got to be happy just to have a job. But then you got people so frustrated with how these employers are doing. People are literally taking advantage of it because they know it's not a lot of jobs out here. So you might get a job and be stressed the fuck out and do something. The Lord really fucking with, the spirits here. And it go both ways. You got these jobs, they up here, they thinking they about to take advantage of a person because it's so fucked up out here. You might put a person in there that got all kinds of demons on them, and you have a mass shooting in that bitch or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how the Lord playing chess. An elder brother that I respect did a lesson, and I don't know the exact title, but I do know he said pretty much we are all like action figures or chess pieces of the Lord when you take the time to really meditate on it. And it's the truth. And that's something to ponder. The Lord could be taking you one way and you ain't never really caught the hell. The Lord had his hand on you. I watched Kevin Gates say some shit. Kevin Gates said, nigga, if the bitch do this, I want his feet to go up. He said, sometimes you give a nigga all you got and the nigga feet don't go up because the Lord still got his hand on him. But if the Lord take his hand, I want that bitch's feet to go up. And if that's the spirit of the Lord, if the Lord's will on that, they gonna go. But I understood completely what he meant. I've been visited and went through certain things. I know brothers in this truth that have been through certain things, and those different moments of, life-changing events. Because if you get in a car accident, even if if you walk through it unscathed, which Jake don't just walk through unscathed, the Lord might shake you up a little bit or soar you up. This is the second time recently at a job, a motherfucker almost died, And I was up there like, damn, you know what I mean? But I was like, man, it was a spirit jumping on me. I said, man, I'll be some stupid shit, because show you how scandalous these devils is. And then motherfucker gonna tell me, oh, we ain't like that, but you exactly like that. Never trust thine enemy. Now, the only good thing I love, called Lord Yahweh, is he pretty much left me unscathed, but I should have been fucked up. But I was just like, damn, y'all gonna try to cover that shit up. And the thing is this, if I had to try to feel like, I know the elders and whatnot know about signing this and doing that, but if you try to do a workers' comp, you can't work. Or you better be doing some work where they can't find out. And it's pretty much, they can stream and figure out so many different things because they got so much power over what we doing. They got access to your bank accounts now. You got to understand that. So unless you're getting paid under the table, yeah, then where does charge come from? You pay the tax on that? Give it up. So that's how you know we at the end. And it says, the end is come, and watching for thee, beholder is come. We at the end of this man's society, and that's why, only things are going to intensify, Yeah, Esau Edom was a big bully. So, you know what I mean? He tried to do some flexes and that shit kind of backfired. But you could see something playing off in the background. They talking about Greenland pretty much did this and did that. But then you talking about Greenland protesting and all this old different shit. So what's really going on? You know? They talk about, you don't think they going in Iran? Listen, they didn't just bring all that military personnel out there for just to be sitting out there. Every day they out there, that fucking costs money. It's a reason why they pretty much passed that bill to go all the way to September. And I can only imagine how much shit about to take place. Again, everybody talking about they won a victory because they passed body camera. That don't mean motherfucking shit. Do you not know police turn off body cams every motherfucking day? And then the motherfucker be unalived and they like, well, why is the camera? And then they be pretty much held unaccountable. So you'll be a fucking naive fool to think that this shit really like fixed. They did that shit to appease the motherfuckers. They got tired of hearing them complain. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like with the Epstein files. Release the files. They gave you some paperwork that all was redacted. You might as well kept that shit. This place is a fucking joke. So yeah, the Lord, it gotta work. Like elder brother May mentioned, he said, shit, you could tell something big is working in the background. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is known for doing big things. So pray to stay locked in. Because again, I've been catching, I will try to stop saying I'll be catching hell. I mean, we all going through hell, but it's just, I notice the Lord doing a lot of little stuff. I'm like, God damn, you know. Like just, I mean, you know, he constantly keeping you on the edge. You know, like the elder brother from, you know, down south said, he said, you got to keep that edge as a man. Because although we priests, we prophets, we all these different titles, we men first and foremost. That's why we go off. That's why we fuck up. And that's why we got to pray for forgiveness. So yeah, Lord willingly, if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, similar India, West India, or Haitian, you come back to the laws, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to call Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Aquat out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly, shalom, shalom. Kwame Sharala and Mawat Lababal.